Good Shabbos. Time magazine called 2020 the worst year ever. There was an image on their cover of a big number 2020 with a big red X over it. Many people felt this was a terrible overstatement, as it's easy to think of years in our history, Jewish history in particular, that have been far, far worse than this year. But the magazine certainly captured the feeling of many that as the secular year turns over into 2021, that we can reflect on this past year and notice that it has been unusually difficult, one of the most unusually difficult in recent memory, and that people are eager for the coming year, 2021, to portend a better future, marked by vaccines and a return to some normalcy. Our Torah reading this week has an important and helpful lesson about looking into the future. Yaakov Avinu knows that he is nearing his end. He calls for his sons to gather around him so he can tell them what will happen in their future, ba'acharis hayamim, in the end of days. Strangely, after gathering his sons, Yaakov repeats himself. Yaakov immediately beckons them a second time, which leads the rabbis to suggest that at first Yaakov wanted to reveal the future to them, to describe to them the Messianic era. But then Hashem prevented him from doing so. Hashem removed his divine inspiration, preventing Yaakov from peering into the future and sharing it with his sons. And so Yaakov is forced to shift gears and summon them a second time and offer a different message. And yet, if you read carefully what Yaakov does say to his sons, you will find that there is language in Yaakov's messages which speaks of the future. The most overt example is in Yaakov's message to Yehuda, Ad ki yavo Shiloh v'lo yikas amim, that Yehuda will continue to rule until the time of the Redeemer, the coming of the Mashiach. How then do we understand the rabbi's assertion that Hashem removed Yaakov's capacity to foretell future events? Judaism doesn't believe in fortune-telling. Throughout Tanakh, Nevuah, prophecy, is not a prediction of the future. Prophecy, Hashem's messages delivered through a Navi, is always an evaluation of the present in order to prepare for the future. If it's a prediction at all, it's a prediction based on current circumstances. Nevuah is a vision of personal or national destiny, but how that destiny will play out depends on following the messages of the Navi and the messages of the Torah. That's why many Nevi'im speak so often of tshuva, because they are transmitting a certain vision of the future based on how well people will react to their message. Yaakov, as a father, wanted to give his children as much information about their destiny as he could. But Hashem steps in to ensure that his children would be able to realize their own unique destinies earned through their own successes and failures. So Hashem enables Yaakov to offer just enough prophecy to guide his children through the next stages of Jewish history and put them on the trajectory towards redemption, but ultimately leaving the responsibility on them to navigate that journey on their own. There is much that remains uncertain about our immediate future. But if we evaluate the present, if we look at what we have, and we plan and prepare for the future, we can chart the course of the rest of the pandemic ourselves. Like Yaakov with his children, Hashem has given us just enough of a picture of what the future can hold, that we can determine our own destiny. Hashem has provided vaccines. Hashem has provided us amazing capabilities to build infrastructure. Hashem has provided so many different resources for us to draw from. We can envision how to restore some normalcy to the world around us, and it's up to us to bring that about. There is so much that we can do on our own to make the coming calendar year a better one. That's how we predict the future. Good Shabbos.